A Samsung Note 10 battery swelled so badly it popped the back panel clean off the phone. The father ordered a $15 repair kit, but instead of fixing it himself, he handed the phone to his daughter and said, "You are doing this." That single decision reveals something profound about what we are losing in an age of instant answers. Growing up in the 90s meant something specific when it came to technology. If you wanted to play a video game, you had to learn IRQ allocation. You had to navigate the command prompt. There were no YouTube guides. There were no instant answers. You had raw problem solving, and that was it. You sat with a problem. You experimented. You failed. You tried again. That experience shaped how an entire generation thinks today. The friction was the point. The struggle built persistence. The act of not knowing and then figuring it out trained a cognitive muscle that carried into adulthood. That muscle applies to everything. Writing code, solving business problems, even navigating relationships. The mechanism is simple. When you encounter an obstacle and overcome it through your own effort, your brain records the process. You learn that uncertainty is not a threat. It is a puzzle. That mindset is built through repetition, through repeated exposure to difficulty and repeated success at overcoming it. Here is the trap that many parents fall into without realizing it. You fix everything for your kids. Their game crashes. Dad fixes it. Their phone glitches. Dad takes care of it. The intention is good. You want to help. You want to remove their frustration. But you're actually shielding them from the very struggles that built your own resourcefulness. When you immediately fix a problem for your child, you remove the friction that builds persistence. You're giving them the fish instead of teaching them to fish. The second-order effect is significant. Children who never experience the discomfort of not knowing how to do something develop a dependency. They learn that when something breaks, the answer is to find someone else to fix it. They do not develop the internal narrative that says, "I can figure this out." That narrative is the foundation of resilience. Without it, every future problem feels larger than it is. The parent who fixes everything is not helping. They are quietly dismantling the one skill their child will need most. The Samsung Note 10 had a swollen battery. The expansion was so severe, it pushed the back panel right off the phone. A replacement kit was ordered. The cost was $15. The instruction was simple. The daughter would perform the repair herself. She was not thrilled about it, but the battery came with minimal instructions. The manual said to search YouTube for more details. No specific link was provided. That was intentional on the part of the manufacturer. They know that the real skill is not following a perfect guide. It is figuring out where to look and how to piece together information from multiple sources. The swollen battery actually made the repair easier. No heat gun was needed. No suction cup. The back was already detached. But then came the adhesive. It was gooey. It was messy. It was stubborn. They used isopropyl alcohol and tweezers. She cleaned it herself. She said, "This is so gross in there." And that is exactly the point. Real problems are gross. Real solutions require getting your hands dirty. In 2026, we have instant answers everywhere. Artificial intelligence, video tutorials, Fulham, the entire internet sits in your pocket. But here is the critical distinction. Troubleshooting is not about having the answer. It is about knowing how to find the answer. There's a massive difference between these two things. Having the answer is passive. Finding the answer is active. It requires diagnosis. It requires breaking a problem into smaller pieces. It requires testing hypotheses and eliminating possibilities. When you hand a child the answer, you skip the entire cognitive process that matters. The answer itself is worth almost nothing. The process of arriving at the answer is worth everything. Instant answers kill curiosity because they remove the gap between question and resolution. That gap is where learning happens. Struggle is not a side effect of growth. It is the prerequisite for growth. A brain that never struggles does not build new pathways. The $15 battery taught a lesson that no classroom could replicate. Sit with the problem. Feel the frustration. Then work through it. We live in a world of increasing abstraction. Kids swipe screens. They tap icons. They never see the guts of the technology they use every day. Everything is a black box. Repair is the opposite of abstraction. It is a concrete act of understanding. When you open a phone, you see the battery. You see the connectors. You see the adhesive. You see the screws. You learn that electronics are not magic. They are engineered. Every component has a purpose. Every connection has a design. This understanding changes how you relate to the world around you. You stop seeing objects as disposable mysteries and start seeing them as systems you can understand and manipulate. That shift in perception is profound. It does not stop at phones. The mindset of breaking something down, diagnosing the problem, and fixing it transfers to every domain. Code, business problems, relationships. The mechanism is the same in each case. Identify the system. Locate the failure point. Apply a fix. Test the result. This is not a niche hobby. It is a fundamental thinking skill. For parents, the opportunity is clear. Let your kids break things and let them fix them. Guide them. Do not do it for them. For young adults who never learned these skills, start now. Buy a broken device. Watch a teardown video. Fix it yourself. The confidence gain is real and measurable. Problem solving is a muscle. You atrophy it by outsourcing every fix. A phone battery costs $15. A lesson in resilience is priceless. The second-order effect here matters for investors and builders. The right to repair movement is not just about consumer rights. It is about a generation relearning what it means to understand the physical world. Companies that make repair harder are betting against a growing cultural current. Watch for repair kit sales. Watch for youth engagement in hands-on technology. Watch for schools reintroducing practical skills into curricula. The next wave of digital literacy will not be about swiping. It will be about opening the box and understanding what is inside. Do not shield your kids from failure. Let them sit with the frustration. That is where they learn. Next time something breaks in your home, do not reach for your wallet or your screwdriver. Hand the broken device to the person who will use it. Watch them figure it out. Then ask yourself what skill you wish someone had taught you earlier.